How's it going, Dopamon fans? The NHL trade deadline is coming up tomorrow, so if you've been following along, you know we've been trying to break down every single trade. And now we're on to a big trade between the Boston Bruins and the Anaheim Ducks. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We're Dopamon. We talk hockey news, analysis, mock drafts, scouting reports, and we're also covering the trade deadline. So, Ryan, what do we got?
Big trade. The Boston Bruins is who we're going to be focusing on today, or for this video, I mean. Going to be a lot of teams over a course of a day or two. Hampus Lindholm from the Anaheim Ducks, and Cody Curran, who is a career minor leaguer, is not the focus of this trade. In exchange, going to Anaheim, John Moore, with no retention, which is kind of cool for Boston. Vaakanainen, Urho Vaakanainen, sorry. A 2022 first round pick, a 2023 second round pick, and a 2024 second round pick, all originally Boston's. Anaheim with an absolute haul. A insane haul, if you ask me. And the focus of it is this guy, Hampus Lindholm. Hampus Lindholm, 28 years old, was a sixth overall pick in the 2012 entry draft. Was the pick directly after Morgan Rielly, if there's any Leafs fans watching from our previous video. 5 goals, 17 assists for 22 points this year. Is not a, you can see his career numbers. He's not a 50-point offensive guy, but he's 6'4". He's 216 pounds. He's a good two-way guy that has really good defensive numbers. And on an Anaheim team that's been kind of okay-ish this year, is an even plus minus for people who take that stat seriously. It's a amazing pickup for Boston, going into the playoffs, and you can talk about Alex, his extension.
Yeah, 8 years, $6.5 million. I think that's a lot of money, but I think that that's about market value for him. Though I'm a kind of surprised that Boston, having raved about, players come here and they're willing to take a little bit of a pay cut for the team to win. That with this, length 6.5, it's a little bit much. What do you think about the value and the term?
I think it's really good value. The value we've seen, and I've just hit our webcam so people can see the entirety of the base salary structure and stuff. The kind of money that defensemen are going for, even like number 2, 3 guys, not, play driving, Cale Makars of the world and stuff like that, are getting a lot of money. So Boston here with an 8-year deal, long deal on a 28-year-old, still in his prime at $6.5 million. That's a decent contract. I think Hampus Lindholm is completely worth that. What I don't like, from just because I don't like them, is all the no trade, no movement, full no movement clauses that he ended up getting. Generally, I don't like those, just in principle. But like I said, not an offensive guy, but the Bruins don't need him to be an offensive guy. They got people to do that. They need depth on defense. And ever since Torrey Krug left, they've kind of been lacking a big name guy on that left side. And Hampus Lindholm, not a bad pick.
No, I like him more than Krug, to be honest, and the contract is better. I think Lindholm has like an underrated offensive game. I feel like Anaheim kind of shaped him to have, a nice, well-rounded defensive game as well. I know when he came in, he had a pretty good offensive season. You think, how high can it get, and kind of stabilized at that. But he's a guy that gets over 20 minutes a night regularly. So on a Boston team that, can really mix up their defensive pairings, I think that he can be a huge asset to them as well. After Charlie McAvoy, he is going to be the number 2 kind of D. We'll see if he gets paired with McAvoy, on the second line by himself, or how that works out.
Yeah, and just the other guy real quick here, Cody Curran going to Boston. He won't play for the Bruins. I would be shocked. He's a career minor leaguer, played a little bit in the Swedish hockey league in Rogel, but he's just a guy that goes over. He had a pretty decent cap hit. He had $1 million, so but he is a UFA, so it's not a big deal there. The guys going back, John Moore, who I think is the reason why they got 2 second-round picks out of Boston, because he is not done after this year. He's 2.75, and there's no retention on him. So getting rid of that contract and a guy who's been hurt a lot, in and out of the lineup, now playing in Providence, that's some decent work from both sides there. Urho Vaakanainen played 15 games with the Boston Bruins this year, 4 assists. So I don't know much about him, to be completely honest with you. He was the 18th pick in the 2017 draft, so former first-round pick. And keeping with the theme, was picked 1 pick after the Leafs, picked Timothy Liljegren in 2017.
I think he's all right. Boston's been giving him almost 20 minutes a night consistently in the 15 games that he's played this season. They've all been recently in a streak. So I think part of that was maybe to increase his value. There's scouts coming to games and stuff, but so far it looks good for a young defenseman still growing into the NHL. They get a good prospect back and 2 huge picks, in my opinion. I think this 2022 first round pick is huge because I don't know if Boston has what it takes to go very deep. How deep, in the playoffs?
Who
And
knows?
who
knows with this division?
That could be a low 20s, 21, 22, overall pick. And this draft is deep.
Yeah,
really deep. And that pick alone could be worth more than Hampus Lindholm, in my opinion. And just that alone, that pick is huge. So I think, to what you said earlier about Anaheim Ducks really getting a huge haul here, I couldn't agree more that they're really killing it.
Yeah, and underrated is this second-round pick. And when teams trade second-round picks, say the Leafs, I don't think are expecting over the next couple of years are to fall off the map. Boston, I think, could fall off the map at any point. So these 2 second-round picks in 2023 and 2024, I don't expect them to be that bad next year. Let's preface that. But weirder shit has happened, and that pick could be like in the 30s in a really, really deep draft. So I think this is a great move by Anaheim, who's made a bunch of really good trades over the last little bit. Still in a rebuild, but coming out of it and now getting players and pieces and prospects, guys that'll help them more immediately to complement guys like Jamie Drysdale and Trevor Zegras and the guys that they have out there right now. So Troy Terry coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, Anaheim had traded, what was it? Nicolas Deslauriers for a third for Minnesota as well.
Yeah, they also shipped out Nicolas Deslauriers, 4th line guy, fighter. Good pickup for Minnesota. We can shoehorn him in here. But yeah, another pick. Like they're just absolutely hoarding picks. But at the end of the day, I think obviously the winner of this trade will be the Boston Bruins, depending on obviously what those draft picks end up being. But right now, Hampus Lindholm is going to make the Bruins defense a little more scary. Going to make the Boston Bruins defense a little scarier. And yeah, who knows with the arms race that's happening in this division. 4 of the best teams in the league, any one of them could go to the conference final, Stanley Cup final again. Obviously, 2-time defending champion Tampa Bay Lightning, Florida Panthers are gearing up. Bruins are always scary. Who knows? They're a decent playoff team every year. And Toronto is an absolute wild card. They could either go really far or flame out in the first round. So we'll see. I think a huge W here. What do you think? Who wins this trade?
Both teams. It's really hard to speculate on. It had nothing. Neither team is. Neither player is. Lindholm hasn't played a game yet, so nobody's won a cup. Draft picks haven't been chosen, but just based off of the haul that Anaheim got, you just got to know that they're gonna have a huge prospect pool going forward. Their rebuild is going to be ongoing. They already have huge talent in the NHL, so it's good. They're gonna have extra pieces to, maybe to move around to like get better players even. Like it's the rebuild's looking great. So I see that as the W there. And then for Boston, you get a really good defenseman for a long time at a fair price. I think Lindholm is like the one of the most perfect second pair Ds in the entire in the NHL, as like a prototypical kind of role. And you need that. And like you said, Krug was missing, and so they get a W there as well to fill that hole.
Yeah, fits them. Is that perfect mold, like you said, for what the
Hmm.
Boston Bruins need. And the Bruins historically can take any piece from anywhere and fit it into their lineup pretty seamlessly. So we'll see how Hampus Lindholm fares and his new team. Not sure when they play next, but I'm obviously not a big fan of the Bruins, being a Leafs fan, but I think this is a W for them. Let us know what you think in the comment section down below. Who won this trade? What do you think of Hampus Lindholm? What do you think of his play? If there's any Anaheim Ducks fans in here that can give us a little bit more of a detailed, opinion, more recent opinion about Hampus Lindholm, please feel free to do that in the comments. Leave a
Also
like.
on Urho Vaakanainen, if you
Yes.
know your opinion on him. I think that the draft picks themselves were a huge haul, but he was also a huge piece himself.
Yeah. 23-year-old defenseman, still pretty young for a defenseman. So, yeah, leave a like if you like this video and subscribe for more dope hockey content. We got a lot of trade deadline stuff happening right now, but eventually we'll start getting into the draft. Top prospects game this week, all sorts of stuff. We'll see you next time. Peace.